Hey y'all, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel for what is going to be a review of a holiday set from Charlotte Tilbury. This is her Charlotte's World of Legendary Parties. Basically, it's her advent calendar for 2016, and it's kind of a luster must because this is, and it's no surprise coming from Charlotte Tilbury, it tends to be a higher price point, but this is record setting for me personally. It's a $200 beauty product, so it's a luster must in that way. I'm going to cut to the chase right at the beginning and tell you whether or not I recommend this set as a whole, but I also do want to go through each of the products individually because the holidays tend to be a good time to put, excuse me, more of those, like, you know, things that you wouldn't otherwise buy for yourself on a normal basis, those wish list items, they could be a little bit more expensive, and these definitely, some of these anyway, make the list for me in that way. So I just wanted to share my thoughts and in case you were on the fence about any of these items, share some of my favorites, then let you decide whether or not this whole set deserves to be on your wish list for this year. I was fortunate enough to receive this through Octoly. I will link that down below if you're interested, but basically it's a platform where video creators, maybe bloggers at this point, I'm not sure, but basically if you're interested in beauty, you make content, brands will allow you to apply to try their products basically if you're interested, and if you're accepted, you earn the opportunity to talk about them. However, under no obligation to say good things about them. So totally honest review. And many of these items I have purchased with my own money and like independently, which is why I kind of wanted to separate my thoughts on this as a whole versus some of them individually. So like I said, no teaser right off the bat. This is not a must for me for the holidays. For starters, it retails for $200. And in some circumstances, depending on the set, the value, all that kind of things, it can be justified in the world of beauty. But for me, you get 5 full-size products. Of the 12 products included in here, 5 of them are full-size, which from Charlotte Tilbury is certainly a significant value. But the actual monetary value of those things is $135, and the rest of these sort of deluxe size samples in here kind of have to make up for the rest of that. And they just don't do that for me, especially when a few of them aren't right for me and my skin type and my beauty routine. So I wanted to go through and explain what each of these products were, just to give you an idea of why I feel that way. And if at the end of all this, you're like, yeah, all those pretty much sound good to me, I would want full sizes of all of them, absolutely put this on your wish list. But I just wanted to put that up there up front because I know that's probably why a good amount of people watch this video to begin with. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for starters, you open it up, there are 2 sort of doors here, and then each of the products is contained in a drawer. This is actually a really nice display piece. Like in general, this is going to be a good kind of vanity top, desktop, wherever it is you store your makeup, organizational piece, because anything from, it's quite deep here, you can see. So like full-size lip liners, lipsticks, things like that, all fit really nicely in here. It's not transparent, but as long as you know where things are, it's a really efficient way to store things. So you do get that going for it. Let's start going left to right, your left, however, we're going this way across the top like you read. So in the top here, you get a Charlotte's Magic Cream. She raves about this for nourishing the skin, removing makeup. It's kind of like a cleansing balm for me. You can put it, especially on difficult eye makeup, put it on there, let it set a little bit, and then wipe it off, go on with your normal cleansing routine. But then you can also use it as a nighttime moisturizer. For me, this is a little heavy to be a moisturizer, and it's expensive if I just use it as a cleansing balm. I really feel like I want to get the full effect of this guy and use it for all of its intended purposes, and on my combo skin, it's just a little too heavy. I think it's really best suited for dry to very dry skin, maybe even normal skin, and then definitely more mature skin. But on my combo skin, and I definitely think on oily skin, it just really makes me look like a grease ball. But I do want to say there is another cleanser that comes in here that I hadn't tried before that is more so up my alley. But just one reason as to why, you know, because not all of these products were a perfect fit for me, I just couldn't justify the price tag. But moving on, next is a full-size product, one that I actually already have and really, really like. It is a lipstick. So this is the Kissing Fallen from the Lipstick Tree lipstick in the shade Penelope Pink, which interestingly enough isn't all that pink. It's a pretty standard nude, I'd say, with more of a yellow or warmer undertone. On me, it's just a hint too yellow. I do find I need a pinker gloss. Luckily that is included in this set, but I do need something a little bit more pinky or even just neutral leaning to help balance this out, because on my skin tone, a nude that leans this warm just makes me look a little dead. So it's kind of a polarizing nude in that way. I wish she would have put a more universal nude. For instance, I have a couple of her lipsticks here, but even something like, well, this is a matte formula, but something closer to, this is Miss Kensington. You can see it has just a slightly, it still keeps that nude look, but has a slightly more pink undertone. I think this would be a little bit more universally flattering than the nude Kate. As far as the formula goes, if you are interested in trying this formula, it's a nice one. It tends to be a little bit thicker, more creamy. As a result, I find it's more nourishing. The finish and even some of the color can wear off, and you'll still find that the pigment is left on your lips even after a few hours. Like any lipstick though, or most lipsticks as the case may be, it wears off with a good amount of eating and drinking. Like light sipping, it will definitely last through, but any sort of moderate wear through eating, and it's gonna come off, but it is super easy to apply. Up next is a Wonder Glow, and this I actually do have a full-size version of, just so you can get a reference, a size reference. So it really is a nice deluxe size sample. You're gonna get quite a few uses out of this. This is something that can be used under your makeup as kind of a primer to help you give that lit from within look. That's how I'm wearing it today and how you'll see it being used in the demo. Or you can use it over the top of your makeup. They say you can use it as your highlight if you want like a creamy or a liquid highlight. Apply that to the tops of your cheekbones or wherever else you may want to highlight. Or you can just use it on top of you, like in lieu of foundation. If you just want to apply this to freshly cleansed and moisturized skin, this is going to give you an all-day sort of luminous glow. And I do find that's the case, even though it kind of looks like a massive glow bomb in here. Once it's distributed across your skin, you have a good chance to blend it in. It looks very natural, has golden undertones, but not so warm and golden that it's not going to flatter those with cooler or even neutral leaning undertones. I find it works really nicely for me, and as far as it being a primer goes, I don't notice it making my makeup last longer, but it definitely does help give that lit from within sort of glow, especially under something like the Magic foundation, which tends to be more full coverage and matte versus, I forget what her other foundation is called, but it's a little bit thinner. It takes a little bit more layering to get full coverage, and it definitely has an innate glow to it, whereas the Magic foundation is all matte. I find that I can layer the Wonder Glow underneath the matte foundation, and it definitely, that radiance shines through without being too much for my combo skin. And it doesn't develop that excess dew throughout the day either. Also nice. Next is another full-size product, and one that I actually already owned, just in a different color. This is the color Chameleon. Basically, it's an eyeshadow stick, and the shade that comes in here is Black Diamonds. It is basically a black base with kind of chunkier silver, more fine than a glitter, but more chunky than a shimmer, I would say, somewhere in between there. And I have this worked into on my lash line and then worked into the corner of my eye and blended out. The other shade that I have is Golden Quartz, and this is more of a metallic bronzy brown. I will say, after having tried two shades here, you kind of have to be a little careful when you go select these online if you don't have a store that carries Charlotte Tilbury near you, because the opacity, basically, the finish, the opacity varies so differently between these two. One is a glitter where the base pigment really blends out. I mean, for looking like an opaque black when swatched, you can see it blends out really nicely, mostly leaving that kind of chunkier shimmer there on your eyelid, whereas the Golden Quartz, you can really layer it up, you can blend it out, smudge it out, but it still retains a bunch of that pigmentation and looks more like a true metallic than the glitter that the Black Diamond does. So just something to be aware of. I like both of them. Both of them last really well on me. I'm not wearing a primer. I do have another shadow that I'll talk about here later, which I love and have talked about a lot before on the channel, but I'm not otherwise wearing a primer on my lids, and I do find that these last and don't transfer and don't fade on me, which in my opinion for that price tag should absolutely be the case. Moving on to what was a new product for me, but a fast favorite after having tried it. It's a pocket pout. I didn't even know she made these. I thought she just did lip liners, lipsticks, and lip glosses, but this is like a kind of a one-off lipstick palette. This is in the shade Jessica Red. It's an orange leaning red, and I was shocked. It says you can apply it on the back of the packaging. It says you can apply it with a finger or a lip brush, and so I went in with my finger thinking this is going to be kind of a tinted balm. Holy, no it's not. It is a pigmented lip color that I mean, it worked well just using my finger, but yeah, you could definitely use something more of a precise lip tool to really get a crisp red pout here. And what I like about this is it's so much lighter than the lipstick. Ultra pigmented, but such a lighter texture than the lipstick. And I personally, when it comes to makeup, like to feel like I'm wearing nothing even though I have a full face on. So you get full on glam red lips, but it's so lightweight on your lips and doesn't dry them out. It doesn't exactly nourish them as much as the lipsticks. You lack that kind of heavier moisturizing feel, but it certainly doesn't dry them out, and yet you still get the same pigmentation and lasting, in fact more. I'd say this stain the lips, and granted it could be just because of the color, but it's almost like the thinner formula stains the lips, whereas the thicker formula just kind of sits on top, and so as it wears away it's a little bit more apparent. Bottom line is, love this formula. Up next is the Multi-Miracle Glow. This, again, was a first for me, trying it here in this set. This says cleanser, mask, and balm for baby soft skin. Now, this is what I like to use instead of the first cleansing balm that I talked about. It's just more lightweight, it's better for my combo skin. And so, even though Wonder Glow tends to be, I feel like, what gets a lot more talk in general when people are talking about Charlotte Tilbury, this is what I would recommend for anyone who has that combo to oily skin, to get the same sort of effect where you can use the product in every way that it's, you know, meant and formulated to be used. This is what you should do if you have combo to oily skin. Skip the magic cream. Next up is a sample size of the Legendary Lashes Mascara. I just recently applied this in another look that I did using a different holiday set. You can go, I will link that right here, or like put a little box annotation thing if you want to go watch that. But this was also in there. I love the effect this gives my lashes. It's both a combo of length and volume. Don't know how it does it. It has this natural fiber, like as opposed to rubberized. It's a super dense, kind of randomly oriented natural fiber wand with a vaguely hourglass shape, I would say. Maybe, kinda, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's magic on my lashes, and I love what it does to them. And last for the second row is an eye makeup remover. This is a dual phase, so you have to shake it up before you use it because it's part, I'm assuming, like oil, part water. So you shake it up. It's called Take It All Off Genius Eye Makeup Remover, and it pretty much works like any other dual phase eye makeup remover would. I'm not a super fan of these just because I find the oil cannot play nicely with my combo skin all the time, but it definitely does the job of getting your eye makeup off. And if you are a fan of these dual phase sort of things, this is basically as good as any. It's not magic, it's not, you know, like unicorn solution, but it's good. Next product is the one that I am most excited is in here because it has been a long time, like at least a year, year and a half. This has been a luxury favorite of mine ever since I tried it. It is the Eyes To Mesmerize. The shade you get in here is Marie Antoinette. This is still in the box because not only do I already own that shade, I own two others. So I really like this formula. It's a beautiful metallic cream shadow. Marie Antoinette in particular is like the perfect champagne, like universally flattering champagne shade for the eyes. This, for the longest time for me, used to be the only one and done shadow I would ever use. As a cream formula, it applies and blends so smoothly and evenly on the eyelid. It's definitely layerable for a more metallic effect, or you can sheer it out for just a nice subtle wash of color. And I can wear it all day, like literally until I want to take it off, all day without it fading or creasing, without a primer. Like, it is its own primer. So this was the first shade I had from them, and then I ordered two more. Those are Cleopatra. Oh my god, look at this beautiful teal, which I haven't hardly used at all because it is so, like, so pigmented. It's not exactly a daytime color for me, but still beautiful nonetheless. And then there is Verushka, which is a little bit more of a daytime color for me because it is this beautiful olive green type shade. Still a little smoky. Like I said, these are very pigmented, but just used lightly in the outer corner adds amazing depth. And all of these blend and play beautifully with each other. So if you want to use more than one in a look, it's just as easy as using one. They're so stinking easy to blend into each other. Two more products. First up is a skincare item. It's the Goddess Skin Clay Mask. And this is another one. It's a deluxe sample, obviously. This is another one that I feel gets a lot of hype. I feel like I've heard her say she produces a ton of amazing videos on her YouTube channel, Charlotte Tilbury does. And I feel like every time she does, she says she likes to prime with the magic cream, but then before that, she applies this clay mask to her model's skin, and it just smooths, brightens the skin, tightens the pores. Like a lot of clay masks, it's going to pull excess oil and sebum out of the pores, and so just naturally will make them visibly look smaller because they just have less stuff in them. But honestly, as far as clay masks go, I don't find it being any more effective or less effective than any other clay masks that I've used. So it's good, but kind of like with the eye makeup remover, it's not life-changing. And last up is a gloss, and believe it or not, this is a full size in the shade Sweet Stiletto, and this is the kind of pinky shade that I need to go over top of the pink, Penelope pink lipstick that comes in this set. So luckily the two balance each other out, and you happen to get both the lipstick and lip gloss experience from this whole set. But I also really like these as well. So basically this is a cream finish lip gloss. It has a light opacity, but it's not so kind of milky, for lack of a better word, that it sinks into fine lines. I've had it happen a couple times where I get some really great looking cream finish lip glosses, but like almost immediately, whatever pigment happens to be suspended in the medium sinks into my fine lines, and it just looks so gross. And then you get the bleeding, and not only that, but it's like weird bleeding. It's not even, I can't, it's just, you don't get that with this. Bottom line is it's a great formula where you don't get the bleeding or the pigment sinking into the fine lines, and it is a full-size product from this. And it's a very non-sticky formula as well. Just really, there's a lot of good slip between your lips where you don't get those little like gross string things between as you open and close your lips. It's a very comfortable formula. Don't feel that it dries my lips out. And so overall, I would recommend. It's certainly not at the top of my recommendations list, like of the products that are included here. It's a good lip gloss, but it's not great. I would definitely say go with the Eyes To Mesmerize or the Pocket Pout over, something like this. So that's the whole set. I really hope that going through all these products kind of helped explain why this set isn't a must for me for the holidays, but I also hope that it helped you guys maybe decide which of these belong on your wish list this year, or just your personal shopping list, because let's get real, who needs a holiday to buy makeup for yourself? Not me. So really hope this was helpful. Again, guys, I would love to hear what products of these you've tried, which you're interested in learning about. If you're putting this whole set on your list, definitely let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.